welcome you to another round of the Limit of Adhesion Endurance Series. My name is Patrick and I stepped in as the broadcaster or commentator, whatever you like to call it, for this race and maybe for the final 3 races of the season as a whole. And with that come a few changes from what you are used to. Number one, the obvious one, I am using different assets than the LOA crew. I hope this is not a big problem for you, that the production and presentation looks a bit different. And number two, of course, a different commentary style, as the safety car is on its way for the formation lap here at Road Atlanta. What do we have in store? 24 cars, 24 drivers in this race on this a little bit over 4 kilometer long racetrack in Atlanta. Who would have thought that? In Georgia. And the top 5 from qualifying. Oh, and one more thing. If I mess up any of the names, I deeply and humbly apologize. I try to do my best here, but if I mess up your name in particular, I apologize and feel free to correct me so that I can learn. But how did qualifying went? Lukasz Sipula was on pole position, Saku Liebold in P2, Matthew Hensel in position 3, Ture Molarin in P4, and Joshua Martinez rounds up the top 5 with P5 out of the 24 drivers. The field is currently in turn 6, now in turn 7. I hope that the track map will update once the actual race is start. We have a 1 hour counter. By my rough estimation, 45-46 laps is what I expect. Let's see if I am right or wrong on this, as they are now on the back straight. And don't worry, the camera and all will change. This is just part of the program I am using for rolling starts, that it shows the gearbox camera from the pace car. But it will change as soon as the race will begin, which is pretty shortly, as they are at the end of Sector 2. Or Sector 3 by definition of the track, so only the chicane left and then that fast right kink. And then it's up to Lukasz Sipula to convert his pole position into a race lead. The lights are there, which means the race is about to begin. The safety car is gone and they accelerate, and here we are. 1 hour Road Atlanta. Sipula, good start, and now let's see if everyone survives the first corner and the first lap as a whole. Of course, the S section, already the first contact. This didn't take long. Carl Hudson loses many positions, and he's not the only one that is going to lose a lot of positions. Rich Meesters was the other car involved, number 64. James Pepper already attacking Chris Forrester. Down to turn 6 for the first time under race conditions. I see Isaac Mitchell. Has he started or not? I'm looking for him. I don't see the number 24 on the map as well, so maybe only 23 cars in this race. Oliver Ettridge, P8, the only Porsche in the field. Many McLarens, I see a lot of Aston Martins, and a spin by Danny Chan. This is costly, so P17 it is no more. And Zachary Liebold, Formulama. P2 under attack from Ture Molarin, who already got a position from Matthew Hensel. And he's about to get another one. So yeah, 23 cars in the race, as Isaac Mitchell has not started. Marion Hogevain, P10, attacks Blake Tovey for P9 and gets him because Blake makes a mistake into turn 6. So Marion is now the new P9. And with that, the highest ranked McLaren driver. Joshua Martinez, P5, same as qualifying, is close to Matthew Hansel. Downhill, but stays behind him. Blake Tovey and Marion Hogevain, they fight for their position, and Blake wants it back. And another spin in turn 11. This was Chris White, one of the many Aston Martins in the field. Martinez with the fastest lap of the race. So 2 spins already in turn 10 it was. Will this become a theme or not? We will see. Carl Hudson, number 6 in P17, behind Steve Pepper, who gained 5 positions from the race start. One of the big winners. The other one is Marion Hogevain. He also got 5 positions. And James Pepper, 7 positions gained since the start. And oh, Thomas Bruin! This is not how you drive that. And oh, big trouble for Thomas Bruin. And he connects with the wall. And now what is he doing? Slowly reversing, trying not to get another car involved. But not how you want to have your 1-hour race start within the first 4 minutes. Matthew Hansel and Ture Mollerin. Hansel back in P4, P5 as Martinez says, you know what? I want to get through as well. So Martinez now in P4. Cipolla is leading roughly a second in front of Zachary Liebold, and then Ture Mollerin 0.4 seconds behind that. Blake Tovey still in P10, fighting against Marion Hogevain. Alex Murphy a little bit behind, but not an immediate threat for the moment. James Pepper behind Chris Forrester in this Aston Martin pulk from 12 to 15, only Aston Martins, which is in general the most driven car in the field. James Pepper, Chris Forrester, turn 6 and 7, the double 90-degree to the right section before you get to the back straight. Gets closer and closer, goes to the inside, now down the hill to turn 10. Pepper and Forrester, and Pepper gets it done. Forrester tries to counter, now he has the inside line for the final corner. And we will take a look if he can succeed or not by looking at the standings to the left. Looks as Pepper is in P13. Chris White, one of the cars that spun around, and oh, contact between them, and into the wall he goes. Danny Chan and Chris White, contact, and a race that went from bad to worse, so that I get the sentence out. Oh, one more thing, as we are now watching Marion Hogevain, and who was in P9 not too long ago. Now he's chasing Alex Murphy. English is not my first language, so if I suddenly start to stumble and look for words, I apologize. Lucas Cipolla, fastest lap in the meantime. So he tries to extend his lead. But 1.1 seconds is not a lot. So a big mistake is not on his bingo card to stay securely in P1. Forrester. behind James Pepper, and behind him is Philip Fox. Chris White, he has arrived at the pits. And not the race you want to have. A spin early on, a contact with another car that leads to even more contact with the wall. Ture Molleren, the first driver, under 118, 179.71, fastest lap of the race. So he gets into a groove. The top three separate from P4 and the rest. Then we have 4 to 8 somewhat close together, then a pretty big gap of over 4 seconds to Alex Murphy, Marion Hogevain, Blake Tovey, and Timon Slutz. Oh, another slide, Steve Pepper, another contact with the wall. We've seen quite a few of those. This was in turn 7. Big question, is the car too damaged? Yes or no? We will see if Pepper goes to the pits or not. Hogevain and Murphy still fighting. We see the positional change, and Zachary Liebold attacks for the lead. Stays behind for the moment. But Sipula is under attack. Liebold and Molleren, they are flying behind him. And then 1.8 seconds to Joshua Martinez, who tries to get away from his group, but 0.4 seconds is still close. We will have an eye on that. If we take a look at the minimap, we see quite a few groups have formed. The top 3, then 4 to 8, 9 to 12, and then it starts to get... Oh, James Pepper! Into the wall with him as well. Rodham Atlanta is a tricky one, and now he has to wait, and Steve Pepper follows him. The Pepper separated by, what is this, 50, 60 meters? Look how long James Pepper had to wait. Lost so much time as a result. But both Pepper members, both Pepper family members, spin at the same time, at the same corner. Not the kind of poetry you want to see. And Steve Pepper in the pits as a result. Ture Molleren, currently the fastest driver on track. Oh, Joshua Martinez loses the car in turn 4. Has to go wide, but he doesn't spin at least, but this is losing time. And he drops down to P7. Fights against Oliver Ettridge. There was in P8 for a moment, but regained P7. Eventful start of the race, eventful first 10 minutes. Ettridge and Martinez. This is for P7. Ettridge is currently in 7, but for how long is the big question. Martinez wants to get past him pretty quick after his mistake. He is at the inside now, which is an advantage for not only this section but also turn 1, but stays behind for the moment. Stays behind, and with that is still in P8. But yeah, that was a costly mistake, a 1:23.1 compared to the lap times the top 6 are driving, all in the 1:18s. James Pepper! Another spin again, turn 10. It caught many of the drivers already here at Road Atlanta. Many spins there. Look how close Joshua Martinez is. We are on board with him. Chasing Oliver Ettridge, who is not, in terms of pace, on the same level as the top 6. But so far P7 is a good result for him. But now he is under pressure with the fast Joshua Martinez behind him. Blake Tovey and Alex Murphy. They try to get away from Marion Hogewain, who was in front of them not too long ago. And now both Peppers in the pits. Yeah, a race start to forget. And Blake Tovey to the inside, takes it and is now in P9. Joshua Martinez still behind Oliver Ettridge, who picked up the pace, 1:18.9 last lap. So the pressure from Martinez is helping in order to get him faster. Marion Hogewain wants to stay in the top 10. But it's tight. It's really, really tight here. Even though the cars start to separate a bit if we take a look at the mini-map. Another spin! Philip Fox! At least he does not touch the wall. Time costly, but at least no damage. So no unwanted travel to the pits for him. But the tires sure won't love it. And of course the time loss as well. Martinez, he doesn't find a way past Ettridge. Now, look at this. They drove the exact same lap time last lap. 1:18.732. Meanwhile, Charles Vasquez with the fastest lap, 1:17.970. Mollerin still behind Zach Liebold, who is 1.3 seconds behind Cipolla, who was a quarter of a second faster last lap, so he tries to get away. Hogewain behind Blake Tovey, the double right, tries and looks, is there an opening? Not for now, but we are still long ways to go in this race. 14 minutes out of 60 have passed. So a lot of action still in front of us. Super close there, 4, 5 and 6. Look at the gaps there, 0.1, 0.3, and here we have it. Charles Vasquez in P5. In the middle of this, Luke Slutz, we have not talked about him yet, the only BMW in the field. But P6, good performance so far. Marion Hogewain and Blake Tovey, they entertained us for the entire race so far. And now, oh, Tovey, little mistake, they are side by side in the downhill section. Who is more brave? Marion, he is now in P9. Double right section, Charles Vasquez and Luke Slutz wants to get into the top 5, and he is in the top 5, at least for a moment. But maybe he can stay there longer than expected. I mean, look at Oliver Ettridge. I was pretty convinced that Martinez would get past him pretty quick. I was wrong. Ettridge still in front of Martinez. And Vasquez and Slutz side by side. Good action here. Mollerin, another fastest lap, 1:17.828. Oh, there is a car part flying. This is Martinez. We have not seen exactly what happened there. But there was definitely a car part flying away. Hope it doesn't affect the performance too much. Rich Meesters. He is in a battle with Chris Forrester and Carl Hudson. 13, 14 and 15. Philip Fox. Now he kisses the wall and pretty heavy. Ooh, watch out, Mark Kelly. Ooh. but good for him to wait. But this is scary when you go up that hill and suddenly you see a car halfway across the tarmac. And oh, Demon Sleuths into the wall. Another one. It is so easy to make that mistake, and now he has to watch out for the other cars. Man. Road Atlanta collects its victims. Luke Sleuths, P6, he's now behind Charles Vasquez again. And Joshua Martinez to the pits. Ture Molarin, he is quick, but he doesn't find a way past Zach Liebold, who is also pretty quick. Goes a bit wide there, but all good. Martinez, Timon Sleuths also in the pits after his incident. Blake Toby as a result now in P9. Rich Meesters P12. Behind him is Chris Forrester. In front of him Carl Hudson, and then there's a 9-second gap to the next car, which is Alex Murphy. Ture Molarin, yeah, when is the better question. When will there be an opening for him to overtake? Not now. Oh, but not the best exit for Zachary Liebold. This is his opportunity, and he gets it. He gets it. Not a fine exit from Liebold. Had to struggle with the rear, and as a result loses a bit of pace, and Ture Molarin says, thank you. And finally, I am through. Now the interesting question is, number one, will he get away from Liebold? Number two, if so, can he close the gap to Sipula, who is 2.2 seconds away, currently the only driver in the 117s. Tovey and Hogevain. Story of the race so far for them. Super close together. Also Alex Murphy, always in the orbit of these two. They are 6 seconds away from P7. Oliver Ettridge, who is driving a little bit on his own. 3 seconds in front, 6 seconds behind. But P7 is a decent result. Zach Liebold, now he is the one in P3. And from the early looks, doesn't feel as if Ture Molarin is able to get away from Liebold. But only time will tell. Thomas Bruin, P20, and another victim of... At least he didn't touch the wall. At least something, but so many spins in turn 10. It is a tricky thing. First you get down the hill, then you get up the hill, weight transfer and all that wonderful things. And suddenly you get on the gas and suddenly the car is gone. We've seen it now 4 or 5 times on that spot alone. Meesters, P12, was involved in that lap 1 incident, if you remember. Goes a bit wide, but all good. All good. Thomas Bruin now in the pits as well. Road Atlanta is a tricky one. It is a tricky one. You go up, you go down. You have that left, right section. First you go up there, then you go down there, then that tricky turn 5 kink, where you have to be brave. So not an easy track to master. Cipolla slowly but surely climbs away, 2.7 seconds. Blake Tovey and Marion Hogevain. Still at it, Alex Murphy now in the pits. We are in the second third of this race. One thing I have to note down if I do the final 2 races of the season as well, I need a lap counter there somewhere. Oh, Philip Fox! Not his first spin, but luckily this time not into the wall. Tries to get it done, sees, nope, I would touch the wall, I have to reverse. And again, turn 10. Grabbed another victim. Just shows you how difficult this track really can be. Carl Hudson still has Meesters and Forrester behind him. The gap in front, 10 seconds. So it's a thing of looking back. Blake Tovey and Hogevain. Little contact there. But he gets through Hogevain, that is. Or stays in front, I should rather say. But this was close. Blake Tovey almost had him. Patience. You have to be patient, because if you take a look, let's see, Blake Tovey is in P9. The car behind, 8 seconds away. If he gets past Hogevain, the next car also 8 seconds away. So in a way, he can take his time, because there is no immediate chance for more or less. So be smart, and this is probably the calling card for Blake Tovey. A bit later there on the break, saw the rear really close. Marion struggled, and Liebold now in P2. P3 we have not seen that there was a battle between 2 and 3 for a moment, but Ture Molleren stays in P2, but Liebold was there for a moment. So the hope of Ture Molleren. Oh no! Lock up by, I think it was Tovey of the two who had to go wide, or was it Hogevain? Like I said, first time I'm commentating on the endurance, so I'm not 100% familiar with the deliveries, but slowly a picture is forming. Hogevain in the pits, 24 minutes into the race. Luke Slutz, P6. And Blake Tovey, so it was Hogevain. Oh, Blake Tovey, this could be bad, Ooh, I think he's lucky. And McIntyre, another one. This time it is turn 7. Is there a car coming? Yes, no. Peter is standing, he is reversing for some reason. I would have thought that he would just throttle it and go again, but no, he reversed there. Still standing there. You see the number 18 not moving. Maybe the car is more damaged than we thought? I don't know. Luke Slutz, P6, behind Charles Vasquez. 5.3 seconds in front of them is Matthew Hansel. Then Zach Liebold, Ture Molleren, and 3 seconds in the lead is Lukas Sipula, who has everything under control thus far. But the race is still going, 35 minutes to be exact. So we are far from done. Alex Murphy, now Mark Kelly in the pits. Also Peter McIntyre made his way to the pits as well. Murphy behind Martinez. Half a second faster in the last lap. Now they are in the S's. Super tricky to drive as well. And then that king. And now Zach Liebold, 0.6. So he's dropping a little bit compared to Ture Molleren, who was quarter of a second faster than Sipula last lap. But still, a quarter of a second every time. So it would take him 12 laps at that pace to catch Cipolla, which is quite a bit. And Philip Fox again in turn 10, again hits the wall. A race to forget. But again, it is a tricky spot. It's so easy to say, oh, he made a mistake, he should do this and that. Trust me, it is so much more difficult than it looks. Now look how close Liebold. He can smell the fumes. There is a car in front of them as well, so watch out. Lapped cars always a factor. This is Mark Kelly, if I saw that correctly. And Thomas Bruin, not the wall, at least not the wall. But not the first spin from Thomas Bruin. But this is also another thing. The tires, think about it. You have to be gentle with the tires, and one spin already increases the heat. And thus the chance to get a second and a third spin increase, and with every single spin your grip level gets lower, your tire temperatures go up, and at some stage the tire is completely useless. Matthew Hansel gets past Mark Kelly, who is lapped at this stage. Mark Kelly in P16. Slutz and Vasquez, currently the closest positional battle on track, 0.4 seconds, because look at the gap between... Oh, Timo Slutz! Turn 7! And this looks bad. That looked nasty. That was quite a big hit. Hope the suspension is alright. Slutz chasing Vasquez. 4 seconds in front of Oliver Ettridge. What I wanted to say originally was Lucas Cipolla now 4.4 seconds in the lead. He really increased it in the last lap, where he was, I think, a second faster than Mollerin, who had to pass at least one lapped car in that. So you always lose time with that, if you catch them unlucky, like here in the S's section. Even if the car that you're lapping tries to make way for you, you're gonna lose time there. So it also is a question of where do I get a car to lap. So many factors that are out of your control, and this is definitely one of the big ones. We are now not officially, we have a few seconds before we are officially at the second half of the lap, of the race, I apologize. 30 minutes passed, 30 more minutes to go. This is another lapped car. He makes it really easy. That was, I think it was Chris White. Let me confirm that it was 19, Chris White, yes. P19. Luke Slutz. Still behind Vasquez. Still 0.4 seconds. He doesn't let him go. He's always there. So if Vasquez makes a mistake, even a small one, Luke Slutz could capitalize on it. Similar story for Zach Liebold and Matthew Hansel. 1 second and 0.7 seconds a bit further up. If the car in front of them makes a mistake... Oh, a little blink there. Hope this is not becoming an issue for Vasquez. You don't want to see losing a potential top finish by a connection loss. We all have been there. It always hurts. No, I'm definitely not talking from experience. Fastest lap, Matt Hansel, 117.7, so he is putting on a bit of pressure there on Liebold and Mollerin. But the thing is, all of them are so quick. It's like, okay, this lap I am 2/10 faster, then the next lap the other car is 2/10 faster. So overall they are at a real similar pace. But you never know. 2, 3, and 4 close together. Cipolla 4.6 seconds. Danny Chan now in P11. No, yes, no. He and Chris Forrester swapping positions for a bit. Here we have it. Forrester behind. Danny Chan in front. Oh, goes a bit wide there though. So maybe there is an opportunity for Forrester. He is on the outside, which is not optimal for this double right-hander. So he has to stay behind for the moment. Mark Kelly, P16. Now he... Ooh, watch out! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. This could have gotten ugly, but I think they managed it as good as they could, because Mark was now in a situation of, okay, I have a car to the left, so I go a little bit to the right, and suddenly the car behind that tries to go to the right. Philip Fox. At least it wasn't turn 10 this time. Oh. That was a bit too much gas. Bit too much. And now the rear is damaged as well, and that doesn't make it easier to return the car. Now also he has to wait for the leaders. He do not want to ruin the race of the top drivers with a silly rejoin. Yeah, a race to forget. This is how you can call it. He slowly starts moving, but now he's also behind Peter McIntyre, and he ports back to the pits. Like, probably Chris White. Another victim of turn 10. I should have made a list. Oh, and Marion Hogevain, watch out. Ooh. Now the next victim, Hogevain. Another big impact with the wall. It is a race of attrition, that's for sure. Because if we think about it, who has not hit the wall? The top 10? After that, I'm struggling to... Maybe Alex Murphy, but it's so easy to make a mistake. The cars are super fast. The track is difficult. We are driving at night, so vision is also a factor. It is not the same as driving at day, even with all the wonderful lights. The cars can shine, but vision is a factor. Charles Vasquez, he probably thought that he would have it a bit easier with Luke Slutz, but nope. Slutz is right there with him. Same story goes for Mollerin and Liebold with Matthew Hansel. 0.2 seconds between 2, 3, and 4. So this could go down to the wire. Here we have car number 24. No. Another big impact. In P2 this hurts especially because now he is facing the wrong side and he ports back. Yeah. He has to port back. Also Chris Forrester in the pits. Oh, it's a battle of survival. It is a battle of survival tonight. Here at Road Atlanta. I mean, it always hurts when you crash into the wall. For sure. Doesn't matter. But in the top 3, P2, you really hate to see it. And now he is in the pits, and this was costly. Good for Zachary Liebold and Matthew Hansel. One car less to worry about. So the quick trio is now a quick duo. How will it affect their battle though, is the big question. Peter McIntyre, P19, he's battling Chris White for P18. Matthew Hansel super close, 0.2 seconds. And now 0.3. Ford versus Aston Martin. And of course, this is not another thing we have not talked about at all. The different cars. Every car, oh, Team on Sleuths. But they all hurt the same when they hit the wall. They might be different, but it hurts. Oh, hope everything goes right there. Yeah, number 10, Danny Chan goes past Team on Sleuths there. But yes, every car, 117.5 by Vasquez and Luke Sleuths. Wow, they increased the pace 7/10 faster than P2 and 3. So, you know the drill. If they can keep up the pace, Vasquez and Sleuths almost the same lap time. If they can keep that up, maybe podium is on the table. But yes, talking about differences in cars, maybe this time I can get it through. This is of course another huge factor in it. Your car might be a little bit better in fast corners than your opponent, but then he can drive away on the straights because he has a bit more power. Chris White, another victim of turn 5 this time, that difficult left kink. So yeah, it is not just a thing of I'm faster. It doesn't help me if my car has a disadvantage at the necessary points in the direct duel. That's for sure. But one person that is pretty... Philip Fox. At least this time he didn't hit the wall in turn 10. As many of the other victims of that corner. As I mentioned, difficult Rich Meesters in the pits. He is in P8 for a pit stop. But yes, so sometimes you have to not only fight against the person in front of you, but also the characteristics of the car in front of you. Like, and adapt, of course. It is a difference if you battle against a Ford than against a McLaren, for example. It's as simple as that. But I also just noticed that Lucas Cipolla 121 against 118.1. Liebold and Hansel 2 seconds faster on this lap. I mean, he had a comfortable lead, but 2 more of those and the lead is gone. So the concentration level has to stay high for the leader that has led every single lap so far. Now a lapped car in between 2 and 3. Hope everything goes fine. Matthew Hansel not happy, but nothing he can do about it now. This was number 64, Rich Meesters, who was in the pits not too long ago. He was a part now that Hansel is now a second behind Zach Liebold. Marion Hogevain, P12. In front of him is Philip Fox, who is behind him on the standings. Fox is in P18. Luke Slutz in the pits. So this might be the chance for Vasquez to get away. Without that car putting on so much pressure, now you have to get away. Maybe the car gets a bit in traffic, loses a bit of time there. You now have to capitalize on it. To finally catch a break. Carl Hudson also in the pits. I mean, we are 17 minutes remaining here in Road Atlanta. As I mentioned previously, I need to find a way to add a lap counter here some way. It would make it a bit more, even more easy than just remaining time, which is the deciding factor. So it doesn't really matter if we're on lap 10, 20 or 30. The most important factor is in the top left, the time of the race. 16 minutes and 50 seconds. Liebold now in the pits as well. We have to see how it will affect the others. Philip Fox and his Aston Martin P18. I mean, probably the best thing for Philip Fox is, yes, he had quite a few spins this race, but none of them were that severe for a lengthy pit stop. So he's still in this race. You never know what's going to happen because other drivers are struggling as well. Sipula, our race leader. We have not seen a lot from him since the start of the race, but he wasn't really in much things. Also now picked up the pace again, 1:17.7 after that 1 minute 20 time not too long ago, which was necessary. And I think he just head to the pits, if I saw that correctly. Yes, he did. Sipula in the pits, Vasquez to the pits. Also Matthew Hansel in the pits. Curious to see if Oliver Ettridge will stay out. Looks like it. Yes, he stays out. So Ettridge is now the new race leader, at least for a bit. At least for a bit, he is leading the race. Philip Fox, car in front of him is P10. They are not on the same lap. This is not a battle. Philip is driving on his own basically. But look at the standings. Matthew Hansel no longer behind Zach Liebold. The pit stops made a difference. Charles Vasquez now between him and Liebold in P4 for the moment. So Hansel lost the position and Vasquez gained one. There was a car number, which was it? Who was it? Was it Forrester? I think it was Forrester that was in the grass. Speaking about vision, being it in the dark, it makes it sometimes a bit difficult to see which car is it when there is no direct light on them. But we are almost done. Less than 15 minutes now. Ettridge is in the pits, so his lead will be gone. And Lukas Sipula will regain the lead in just a few moments. Right about now. So he is back where he belongs, in his mind of course, After Paul leading every lap, I think he has a right to think that. But 1.7, no, 4 seconds, okay. The gap's updated. Wanted to say 1.7 seconds, that got closed down a bit. But no. 4 seconds is still healthy. Ansel putting on some pressure. He wants to get back into the top 3 at the very least. And Oliver Ettridge, after the pit stop, is now in P5. Luke Slutz right behind him. And Luke Slutz, he knows a thing or two about chasing a car in this race. He has done plenty so far. Hansel and Vasquez, both in Aston Martins, so there is no difference. In car performance. Does it make it easier or harder to overtake? That's a different story. This is a whole different story. Thomas Bruin spinning around, at least not touching the wall in turn 7. Danny Chan now in the pits. Bruin turns around, nothing happens. Keep going. Because, let's face it, P19 is the worst case scenario for Thomas Bruin. There is no change in that. Just finish the race. You never know what happens. Maybe an unlucky incident for 1 or 2 drivers, and suddenly you're finishing in P17 and not P19. You always have to think like that. Matthew Hansel, 0.2 seconds. He is close, he's getting closer. 0.1 goes to the left now of Charles Vasquez. Brakes a teeny tiny bit later and is through, but now he has to block a potential counter. Ooh, Danny Chan, watch out. Ooh. Oh, yeah. I was somewhat expecting that this would meet the good old Barry R. Hansel now back in P3. Was a nice overtake from him. Little bit of a later break on the inside. Denies a potential counter. Nicely done. But now, can he get away from Charles Vasquez? Because as Road Atlanta is such a long back straight, a slipstream is always a factor to keep up with the car in front of you. So driving away, easier said than done. Ten more minutes. 10 more minutes in this race. Ooh, and Philip Fox, and this is a nasty one. Yeah, oh, parked right between the tire walls. I mean, in fact, nicely parked between the tire walls. I know you don't want to hear that from me if you're Philip Fox, but ugh, I feel with you, buddy. But at least it was a nice parking, if it is worth anything. And now, back to my point with Thomas Bruin. P18 on the table. Ooh, watch out, Vasquez. Ooh, he saves the car. Lost a lot of time, but trust me, you rather want to lose 2 seconds there than the entire car. Especially in P4 in the final 9 minutes of a 1 hour race. You do not want to lose that. Slutz. The gap to Ettridge is increasing. Chris Forrester in P15. Not too far away from P14. 2.5 seconds was 1.3 seconds not too long ago. Little mistake there in the chicane. Our race leader, Lucas Sipula. 3.4 seconds. He was 1.5 tenths slower, but 1.5 tenths per lap for the rest of the race means Sipula is the race winner. So this is all fine. This is under control. Sloots chasing Ettridge for the final spot in the top 5. Liebold, P2 now pretty safe. This was Thomas Bruin getting past. Or he gets past Thomas Bruin. The other way around. And 1.9 seconds to Matthew Hansel. Looks pretty safe, but we have seen so many things here in Road Atlanta. I would say nobody and nothing is safe. Thomas Bruin. Right behind him is P4, so another blue flag situation. Probably will let him through after this kink, I would assume. Let's see. Slows down, yes. And he is through. Vasquez and Bruin now in P18 simply by surviving. Which gained him 4 positions from the start of the race, don't get me wrong. Who is also the biggest winner in terms of positions? Mark Kelly, +9, started in 23 and is currently in 14. Good job. Also big gains from Alex Murphy and Marion Hogevain, +5. Both of them in the top 10. Biggest loss, except from the cars in the pits, is Rich Meesters with -3. Started in 9, is now in P12. Oliver Ettridge, the only Porsche in the field. Thomas Bruin, oh no, another victim of turn 10. And is this a blink or is this a port to the pits? I am not so sure about it. Or did he? No, he did collect too many incident points, I believe. I think he has too many incident points because look, he's now suddenly in P23. I think this is a case of too many incident points causing a DQ. Interesting, we have not talked about that, of course. Of course, many spins equals many incident points. Many incident points equals potential penalty. Of course, we have not talked one bit about it. But they are a factor. A big factor. Sloots, still 0.7 seconds, less than 5 minutes. So he's close but too far away to attack. He has to hope for a mistake by Oliver Ettridge. Or maybe that lapped car in front of them, Chris Forrester, maybe costing him a bit of time. This is now hope territory to gain positions. We are late in the race. He's not directly there. Forrester made it very easy. Fair play. Ooh! What? Vasquez? What happened to Vasquez? What happened to him? Either way, Ettridge and Sloots are through. And suddenly we talk about a battle for P4. Sloots super close now. Look how close he is. Goes to the outside. Will not work, but maybe different choice of line through the double right-hander. Maybe with a bit of momentum. But stay there. Stay there. 3.5 minutes. Bring yourself in a position to overtake. 0.2 seconds. He is close. This is much closer than a lap ago. Of course, that gift of Charles Vasquez in turn 1 is a gift both of them gladly took. 3 minutes on the clock. So time is running out. That was a bit costly. That was costly in terms of time. This may put Luke Slutz away from attacking mode to defending mode. Yes, indeed. Now suddenly Vasquez only 0.2 seconds behind him. Super close. That turn 5 kink. Both master it. But look how close he is. Can he take him? Not here. The BMW is strong. Oh, but now look. To the inside, Vasquez gets him. Can they counter side by side? Now it's a battle of raw power. And here you can see the difference. The BMW is in front again. But good attempt by Vasquez. He is to the outside. Wants to be at the inside. Not for this corner, but the following ones. This one. The fast kink to the right and turn 1. Still side by side. They give each other room. Still there. Still fighting for P5. Peter McIntyre and Timon Slutz also fighting, but nothing against you two, but I would love to see how it goes with Luke Slutz and Charles Vasquez. Slutz is still in front of him. He was able to use the raw BMW power to stay in front of Charles Vasquez, even though Vasquez had the better positioning through turn 11 to turn 1. But this ain't over. This ain't over. Ooh. Things got exciting again. Blake Tovey and Carl Hudson also fighting for the final spot in the top 10. To McLaren, so no difference there, unlike with Slutz and Vasquez. 40 seconds on the clock. Where is our race leader? Cipolla is crossing. Cipolla is crossing the line before the time runs out. Vasquez, he wants to get into the top 5. Blake Tovey wants to get into the top 10. He is close. Slipstreaming on the back straight. 10 seconds on the clock. So time is about to end here at Road Atlanta. Tovey is a little bit in front. Slutz and Vasquez. Slutz got past him, but wait for the raw power of the BMW. The back straight will decide a lot. Also, how good will they go through the double right-hander? Slutz is too far away. He is too far away. This should be in the bag of Charles Vasquez. As we are checkered flag territory and Lucas Cipolla wins. Zach Liebold P2, Matthew Hansel P3, the podium, congratulations. 5 and 6 still close, but Oliver Ettridge in P4. Vasquez can't defend, but that raw power of the BMW, super close to the finish line. Super close. And now we wait for everyone to finish the race. Woo! Is there still a battle ongoing? 9 and 10, 8 tenths. This is too far away. 0.4, maybe. Would love to see it. We will see it any moment now. Blake Tovey and Marion Hogevain 0.3. It was close, but win. Hudson P11. And now, who are we waiting for? 12 and 13. Rich Meesters and Danny Chan is the final car that we wait for checkered flag. Woo! Road Atlanta, we have done it. These are the top 10. Cipolla to Blake Tovey. Then Carl Hudson to Turem Mollerin, the second page. And the final four, Chris White, James Pepper, Steve Pepper, and the non-starting Isaac Mitchell. That was an intense hour. I have to say, that was one intense hour. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope you were... Oh, now you can ruin your rear. Now it's fine. Congratulations to the race winner, celebrating Lucas Cipolla. That was it from Road Atlanta. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you again soon here for the Limit of Adhesion Racing League. I'm out. I hope you have a good day. Take care and goodbye.